He had assumed she had moved on to bigger things, until he discovered her exhausted, struggling through long hospital shifts. What he did next changed both of their lives forever. The bright lights of Westvale General Hospital flickered overhead as Ryan Coldwell, billionaire CEO of Coldwell Tech, stepped through the sliding doors. But today, he wasn't here for business. His mother had been admitted for observation, and he had come to check on her. Dressed sharply in an expensive suit, Ryan was used to being recognized wherever he went. Yet this time, he was the one who froze. Because standing at the nurse's station, flipping through a patient's chart, was a face he hadn't seen in over a decade. Emily Carter, his childhood best friend. The girl who used to outshine him in math competitions. The one who had once dreamed of becoming a world-class doctor. The same girl who had vanished from his life after high school. And now she was here. A nurse. Ryan's brows furrowed. How had this happened? As if sensing his gaze, Emily glanced up, her eyes widening in shock. "Ryan," she whispered. A slow smile spread across his lips. "Emily Carter, I never thought I'd see you here." She let out a soft, disbelieving laugh. "Neither did I." But Ryan wasn't laughing. Because now that he was really looking at her, he noticed the exhaustion in her eyes, the slump of her shoulders, the way she clung to her clipboard like it was the only thing holding her together. Something wasn't right. And as they started talking, he realized just how much she had been struggling. Years of fighting to get into med school, balancing multiple jobs, drowning in student debt, until eventually she had to give up on her dream. Ryan's chest tightened. This wasn't the Emily he remembered. She had sacrificed everything, only to end up in a career she was never meant to settle for. And right then, he made a decision. He wasn't going to let her story end like this. Because if the world wouldn't give Emily the future she deserved, then he would. The next day, Ryan couldn't get her out of his head. Emily, the smartest person he had ever known. The girl with dreams bigger than life itself. Reduced to endless shifts, barely making ends meet. And that didn't sit right with him. So he made a call. To the board of directors at Coldwell Medical Foundation, one of the largest scholarship funds in the country. "Find Emily Carter's records," he ordered. "I want to know exactly how much debt she has." The board hesitated. "Sir, are you sure?" Ryan's voice was firm. "Every last cent, pay it off." And that wasn't all. "I want her med school applications reopened," he continued. "If she still wants to be a doctor, she's going to have that chance. No more barriers. No more roadblocks." This time, Emily Carter wasn't going to be forced to give up. That evening, after yet another grueling hospital shift, Emily slumped into a chair in the break room, rubbing her temples. Her phone buzzed. A new email. She nearly ignored it until she saw the subject line. Student loan account balance. Paid in full. Her heart stopped. Hands trembling, she clicked the message. It wasn't just a payment. It was everything. Every loan. Every penny of debt. Gone. Her breath hitched. Who? How? Then another email. Coldwell Medical Foundation. Full scholarship approved. Her vision blurred. Tears welled in her eyes. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. And then her phone buzzed again. Ryan Coldwell. Dinner tomorrow. We need to talk. Emily clapped a hand over her mouth, a quiet sob escaping. Because deep down she already knew. Ryan had done this. He had changed her life overnight. And tomorrow she was going to find out why. The following night, Emily sat at an upscale rooftop restaurant, still reeling from everything that had happened. Her student loans? Wiped clean. A full scholarship? Granted. It was too much. Too surreal. And across from her, casually seated with that all-too-familiar smirk, was Ryan Coldwell, the man responsible for it all. She took a deep breath, gripping her water glass. "Ryan, tell me the truth. Was it you?" Ryan leaned back, expression unreadable. "Was what me?" She exhaled sharply. "Don't play games. My loans. My med school application. You did this, didn't you?" Ryan's smirk faded into something softer, more serious. "Yeah," he admitted. "I did." Emily's breath hitched. Hearing him say it made it all feel real. Gratitude. disbelief, and something else she couldn't quite name swirled inside her. Ryan, I can't accept this. His gaze darkened. Why not? She let out a shaky laugh. Because it's too much. Med school isn't cheap. Why would you do this for me? Ryan leaned forward, resting his arms on the table. Because you were never supposed to give up on your dream, Emily. Her throat tightened. You were the smartest person I knew. The one who was supposed to change lives. And then life got in the way. His jaw clenched. That's not fair. And if I have the power to remove those obstacles, then I will. Emily blinked back tears. She wasn't used to people fighting for her. Ryan smirked. Besides, I'm a billionaire. What's the point of all this money if I can't use it to help someone who actually deserves it? A choked laugh escaped her. You always were dramatic. He grinned. And you always were too stubborn. She glanced down, emotions threatening to overwhelm her. I don't even know how to repay you for this, Ryan. His voice softened. Just promise me one thing. She met his gaze. Anything. Become the doctor you were always meant to be. A tear slipped down her cheek, because in that moment she realized she really could. Her dream hadn't been lost. It had just been waiting for her. And, thanks to Ryan, she finally had a second chance. 5 years later, Westvale Memorial Hospital's new pediatric wing was finally opening. Cameras flashed. Reporters gathered. Dozens of medical professionals stood proudly in their white coats. At the center of it all, standing before a massive ribbon, was Dr. Emily Carter. She had fought for this. Late night studying, grueling shifts, sleepless weeks. But she had made it. And now, she wasn't just a doctor. She was the head of pediatric surgery. The announcer stepped up to the microphone. And now, a few words from the woman who made this vision a reality, Dr. Emily Carter. The crowd erupted in applause. Emily took a deep breath, adjusting her coat. Her eyes scanned the audience until they landed on him, Ryan, seated in the front row, watching with that same smirk. The same one he had given her the night he changed her life forever. She smiled, cleared her throat. 5 years ago, I thought my dream was over. And as she spoke, Ryan knew. This was exactly where she was always meant to be.